with the Friday night edition of America's Mayor Live from New York. Lucky we're not in Georgia, because it's really breaking down in Georgia. So I didn't expect it to happen this fast, an example that I could find this fast. But several people told me I could if I just was patient. Didn't even have to be patient. I haven't had a chance to show this to former President Trump yet, but he is entitled to see this as well. You might note that both of us, not prearranged, separately warned you when we went through a totally unnecessary, degrading, disgusting, unconstitutional, what else would I call it? Arraignment, not arraignment yet, fingerprinting, photographing, marching through the prisons, that this wasn't just about us, it's about you. They're going to come for you. So now I want you to take a look at this mugshot. Do you know who this man is? Of course you do. The whole world knows who this man is, and the whole world knows that his country imprisoned him. And the whole world wants to know, what did they imprison him for? And the best they're going to do is, oh, he had something to do with the election. And they're going to say, oh, my goodness, just like Russia used to do, just like China, oh, just like Venezuela. Oh, those phonies in America. They have justice. I bet when the Republicans get in, they'll stick the Democrats in jail.
Show that together, man.
Right here, this here. So this one, this is the most famous mugshot ever, I would say. Can't imagine anyone being more famous than this. Whatever you think of the expression, I like it because I think you should look fierce, and I'm going to fight back, and we're going to stop this crap. That's what it looks like to me. But I guess we all read into what we want. But I'm making one point now, and the point that I'm making is that mugshot was all around the world today, and I don't know what the Democrats think. I don't think Fanny Willis thinks, so we'll take her out of the picture. And Biden doesn't think. But what, they think they did something good here? You know what they just did? They demeaned America. They did. Because no matter what people think of Donald Trump around the world, I'm going to tell you, they don't think he's a criminal. Nor do they think... They probably think, even if he is a criminal, you don't put your ex-president in jail unless you're a banana republic. And they all kind of get annoyed with us being holier than thou anyway. So you can imagine, right, what the French are saying. Well, or the Germans. Well, I tell you, they've become less democratic, and we have a system of justice. They don't anymore. Big phony Americans, big phony Americans. What a bunch of phonies. And the English will say, what do they think is going to happen next when his guys take over? Not necessarily even him. You see those people in the House. You see how angry they are. I don't believe in that. I have a different sense of justice that I'm sorry the left wing doesn't want to accept and respect. It's a heck of a lot more sophisticated, deep, wise, and solid than theirs. I don't think there should be tit for tat, but that doesn't make up the majority of the world. Nor am I necessarily right. Also, you're going to run into the problem that some of these people need to be prosecuted. I mean, he is getting persecuted. You may not accept it or not, but I'm a lawyer. I don't need you. I know a lot more about prosecution than all of you. He's not guilty of a damn thing. This man's an innocent man. Whether you like him, you don't like him, whether he's a nice man or not a nice man, a great president or not, he's an innocent man. What she just did was charge him with exercising his rights under the 1st, 6th, 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Almost any European reading that will say, we don't have a constitution anymore. But we warned you of something else, did former President Trump and I. We said to you upon leaving jail, which almost sounds strange, right? Leaving jail. this could happen to you. Doesn't have to be big famous Donald Trump or semi-famous Rudy Giuliani or somewhat famous Mark Meadows. It can be you. Take a look at this picture. Do you know who this man is? You have any idea who this man is? I didn't know who this man is, although he is named in the same indictment with me. I do not know this man. Maybe I have met him, maybe I've seen him, but I would not have been able to put it all together. This man is charged in that Fanny Willis fraudulent indictment in 3 counts, I believe. He came all the way from, I think, Washington to turn himself in. He is now sitting in jail without bail. Are you kidding me? He's sitting in jail without bail. From what I can tell, for sending off some investigators to ask questions about people who engaged in, you would say, well, certainly, in fairness, you'd have to say extraordinarily suspicious conduct, where a person who was fighting for a proposition like the election votes were not counted properly would have every right to question them. They are seen on a film in which the public is excluded from the arena. They had no idea there was such a film, by the way. It wasn't uncovered until a month later. So we will take a short break so we can get everything all fixed up, and we'll be right back. Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now.
Back.
Rudy Giuliani back with you with America's Mayor Live. And don't forget, Tunnel to Towers, T2T.org. Send your $11 in right now before the weekend starts so they can start working on homes and they can start working on mortgages. And now let's go back to Mr. Floyd, because Mr. Floyd, as we sit here in your homes or cars or wherever you are, and I am in my office here, he's sitting in what is considered to be one of the worst jails in the United States for committing what I will tell you definitively is not a crime. It's only a crime because the Biden state police, including how they have usurped Georgia, have decreed it's a crime. It's a crime the way it would be a crime in Nazi Germany or Soviet Russia. It's a crime. He committed a crime. He will go to jail. Well, whether it's a crime or not, it's a crime that he's sitting in jail without bail. You get out of jail in New York. for beating the living daylights out of an old lady. This guy could have come to New York and in Los Angeles, like he could have stolen $900 or less. He wouldn't be in jail. And believe me, it goes up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000, depending how busy they are. They've let stick-up men go without bail. What did this guy do? He sent off 2 people to interview witnesses, which they make into some kind of obstruction. See, they can interview people. They can interview people, and they can tell them, if you don't tell us what we want, we're going to put you in jail. And that isn't extortion. That's okay. But you interview somebody, just ask them what happened, and you committed a crime. Look, in any real honest world, in a real honest America that used to exist, this man wouldn't even be close to being charged with anything. Wouldn't even be close. I can't imagine how. I can't imagine why can't imagine why the governor of that state doesn't get the hell out of his mansion and just free this guy. Because the governor of that state is up to his neck in this. That's why. So much so that he's buried by it, along with his phony Ratzenberger, who had a report of all this crap and kept it hidden. Why can't the truth come out? Why? Because the press is crooked. Where's the big headline? Man held without bail for no reason. You know the reason is the judge is on apparently, as far as I can tell, the judge is on vacation. I mean, he must be with Biden. Democrats now must all take vacation all the time. I mean, I listened to the hearing, and there was a judge there, and this judge looked like I won't tell you what she looked like. I'll get in terrible trouble. She didn't seem to know that she could set bail. I mean, he didn't have a lawyer. He didn't meet the criteria he wasn't poor enough to get a lawyer, and he didn't have enough money to get a lawyer. Now, here's what happens in a civilized place when that happens, like in the court I used to be in. When that happens, for the purpose of arraignment, for the purpose of booking, you assign a lawyer for free. What the hell is it going to cost you? A couple $1,000s? You save all that and the guy having to come back, another court hearing, that's going to probably cost $5,000. So a smart, intelligent U.S. attorney, not a genius, not a great one like I was, just an average one, says, okay, go get the whatever they have there. I don't know if they have a legal aid office or a public defender's office. They have. The guy applied for that and wasn't able to get it. He earns too much money, apparently. Now, as I said, in a civilized place, in a place that operates under what used to be Anglo-American law, not in a Bidenista Atlanta, Fulton County Democrat dictatorship, you assign a lawyer to him. You even have, and some places have volunteer lawyers who do it pro bono. We used to do it in my law firm we'd loan people there, young lawyers, so they would get experience in court. So then maybe you do have the money to hire an attorney. Maybe you don't. You're on that line, right? So why delay the process for a clerical issue? I mean, for a person not aware of this process, getting a lawyer, you just don't do it like that. So you tell me why there wasn't a lawyer available for him immediately. Is that usually done for others, but not for people involved with Trump? Is this what Georgia usually does? maybe somebody should take a look at the consistent violation of civil rights in the state of Georgia under Governor Kemp. He ran a hell of an election. Ooh. So this is, have you shown a picture of Harrison Floyd?
Yes, Mayor. Would you like me to show it again? No
problem. Yeah. Show it again, because if people, maybe he'll have a GoFundMe page or something, and then people.
Well, GoFundMe doesn't like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
GoFundMe is.
Give, send, go. That's the one he should do.
Maybe nobody should send anything to GoFundMe because it's not American.
Yes. Yeah,
but even if you're left wing and you belong to maybe you should go someplace else.
I agree,
because they're not American. They're something else. If they don't help everyone.
By the way, you could say in the microphone, Rudy has made several calls to try to help this man.
Yes, I've made several calls already to try to help him and to try to get him a lawyer. I don't, and I'm. How about this? We're in the same indictment together. How guilty can this guy be? I don't even know him. I don't even know him.
That's right. Well, Mayor,
I'm a big shot in the conspiracy. I'm a real big shot in the conspiracy. I'm a big shot in the RICO case.
Well,
I'm a big shot in the RICO case.
Mayor, you lived your life to serve people, and it's very nice that you're going to help this man that you don't even know him, and I'm sure he appreciates.
These people are not even. I spent my life when I was U.S. attorney. If I got a call like this from my chief assistant or someone that we had a guy there with no bail, and this was the story, I'd be down there myself on a Friday evening. I'm sure Fanny doesn't want to take her Fanny and go down there to the jail, but I would go down to the jail and I'd find out, what the hell did we do here? What do we do here? The whole world's watching us. And this guy is being held because the judge is on vacation and won't come in from vacation. This is why he's being held. I mean, there's no here's. I know it probably doesn't annoy a lot of you as much as it does me, because you're not lawyers. You don't understand sometimes what these things mean. But this is really important, simple, but crucially important to one of the reasons we separated from England. You cannot be held before you're convicted, because then we wouldn't be presumed innocent, correct? Then the police would just go arrest you and say, okay, you committed the robbery, go to jail. Could I have a trial? Nah, no trial. Go to jail. We'll have a trial sometime, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. How about you here? You snatched a purse. No, I didn't. No, you snatched a purse. You go to jail. But I didn't. I want a trial. Yeah, okay, you can have a trial about 4 or 5 years from now, but go sit in Rikers Island for now. So that man that you saw is presumed innocent. He's an innocent man. There's several charges that are made against him, suggesting there's probable cause to believe he committed a crime. I would have to say, if you were a decent judge and a fair lawyer, you'd have to say it certainly is not an obvious crime. He's not charged with murder. He's not charged with rape. He's not charged with stealing. He's charged with something that I don't know anybody else was ever charged with, which is sending off someone to interview someone about an election. So if I read that as a judge, I would say, you got some statute for this? Could you show me some statute for this? No, it's in the mind of Fanny or someplace else in Fanny. But so you got to treat it a little. No, you treat it the same even. I mean, if the guy were there for stealing, you have to set bail. And bail is not based on whether you like the guy, you don't like the guy. You like Trump, you don't like Trump. It's not even based on his prior record, unless his prior record shows one of two things: that he's exceedingly dangerous, does it? Or that he's going to run away, does it? Bail is all about not punishing someone, because you can't punish someone presumed innocent. Bail is about assuring your reappearance. Well, if this guy was going to run away, he never would have come. On his own, he came all the way, I think, from Washington, D.C. Obviously, he doesn't have a good lot of money, or he had a lawyer. He didn't have the resources to go get a lawyer at first. You're screwing him by not giving him a lawyer. You're saying he doesn't meet your guidelines. I don't know. You can't loan him a lawyer for a couple hours out of the decency of your heart, if you have it, Georgia. I'm not blaming your whole state. I'm blaming you for the miserable governor that you have who allows this.
Well, Mayor, this kind of echoes January 6th, right? They were putting people who literally just walked into the Capitol, didn't do anything. They're putting them in solitary confinement. They're not giving them bail. They're not giving them a fair trial. So this is kind of a little echoing of January 6th, and it's very scary.
Scary?
Yeah.
Could it be that that this man is being treated differently because he's a Republican and he's black? Could it be that he was a big supporter of Donald Trump and he ran an organization in favor of Donald Trump? It wouldn't be the first African American or black person that's been treated horribly because they support. Think of Larry Elder. Think of Candace. Think of, you got to go on and on and on. He's being treated worse than anybody that was brought in there. I told you I was treated with great respect, even applauded by the prison. I can't get over that. But they pick on this guy because he doesn't have a lawyer. I don't know if they're back in the 17th century, but this gets solved in every court I've ever seen. You give them a lawyer for an hour.
What happened to a public defender, Mayor? They don't have
the
that.
Lawyer has to. If they'd unsuspend me, if they'd unsuspend me for a day, I'd go down there and do it in 2 hours. Jesus, it's been a long time since I've been in that kind of court, right? When I was a young assistant, I still remember what to do. I argued to the judge that he's not a flight risk. I say, I don't know his back, but let's say he has a job, he has a family, has a home. He made his way here just as the court ordered. He had to be there by Friday. He was there by Thursday. He sought a lawyer. He doesn't qualify. He's probably somewhere near the guidelines. I'd say, well, I'm going to represent him pro bono for this purpose only. Your Honor, release him on his own recognizance. There's no reason to set a bail. There's no reason to think he'll run away. And also, it's only 3 charges. It's 3 charges that I don't know any person that graduated from law school can see, Your Honor, is bullshit. I wouldn't say that, of course. I would say anyone who went to law school would have serious issues with. For the last 40 days or so, I've been looking through the law books for the crime. I haven't found it yet, but maybe Fanny will put one in there. It isn't exactly the crime of the century. Well, this is what's going on. And this is what Donald Trump and I mean when we say they're coming after you. And they've come after plenty of you. Look at all the January 6th people that we didn't pay enough attention to. I feel guilt for that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel we conservatives should have paid much more attention to that and gone crazy over it. But I think a lot of people were afraid. They were afraid. I used to mention it every day. And at first I was being told, you better not mention it. You'll be taken off the air. But this is a terrible violation of rights.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't see it with Trump, actually, Trump's rights have been violated much worse. But if you can't see it with Trump, hopefully you can see it with a guy who's just a regular guy. What the hell did he do?
Well, Mayor, it is Friday. Yesterday, you did promise people we're going to have some fun. Do you want me to play the video?
Yeah, let's have a little fun. This is not exactly fun, I guess, but
well, we can
anything you
course.
Can do.
Yes.
Anything you can do to help this guy, go ahead. If I can get an address or something. Yeah, we'll see if we can get an address or something where they can write or do something. Okay?
All right. You're back.
What I'm saying is, isn't Fanny Willis imposing bail on Trump for show, not for substantive legal reasons, which makes her a phony prosecutor. It makes the prosecution phony. Then we have a better way of describing that in the law. It violates due process, judges. Throw it out. We throw cases out that violate due process when we're not scared, like you were scared during the election proceeding. We throw cases out like that. Doesn't matter if the cases involve Trump or Mr. Floyd or Mr. Jones or Madam Smith. We throw them out. You know that's phony, that bail. It's Fanny Willis showing she is a dishonorable, dishonest prosecutor carrying on a phony, dishonorable case, which is really a political attack. Another example. She stands up in court, first asks for a trial in 6 months, for which she should have been told, you better come back with a realistic appraisal of that, or I'm going to throw the whole damn case out. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. You see if you can think of why you would throw the case out for doing that. But how about then she comes back and says, no, I want to do it in 2 months in October. Now, why would you throw a case out where a prosecutor wants to try it in 2 months? Now, let's look at the case. The case is 19 defendants. It took 2.5 years to put together. She has a case on trial right now with 8 defendants and a gang, and it's taken 3 months to pick a jury. Her duty, as much as to seek a conviction, in fact, over and above seeking a conviction, her duty, she's not a defense lawyer where his only duty is to fight like hell to defend his client. Her duty is to do justice. When a verdict of not guilty is reached, as Justice Jackson says, the prosecutor wins if the person's innocent. The prosecutor made a mistake, the jury corrected it. Prosecutors make mistakes. So does everyone. That's why we have a jury system. That's why we have the possibility of they can be wrong. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, when you get people like this, they're not just wrong, they're malicious. So any prosecutor that would take a 19-defendant complex case and say, I want to try it in 2 months when I've had 2.5 years to prepare it, is deliberately, maliciously seeking an unfair trial.
Amen. Great points, Mayor.
Seeking an unfair advantage. A prosecutor seeking an unfair advantage should be thrown out of court. Out. In a case of this magnitude. The moment she finished her request for a 2-month trial, the case should have been thrown out of the courts of the state of Georgia because Governor Kemp, it is stinking up your state. It looks to me like you don't have justice in Georgia. And ultimately, it's probably because of you. Wasn't it you and your buddy who negotiated the deal with Stacey Abrams that blew the election anyway? Didn't you agree to all these things that are unconstitutional? Like your legislature didn't vote for all that balloting you did. You just did it. I know you got away with it because I don't know what happened to the courts. They got some case of amnesia or something, but the law doesn't allow you to do that. You just caved in. I don't know. What kind of deal did you make? Maybe you were getting advice from your former chief of staff. How do I know? He's got a lot to answer for, that guy. A lot. You're not even anywhere near the truth on what happened in Georgia. You're starting to see it. You're starting to see how it stinks. When I tell you Atlanta's a corrupt city, you're beginning to see it. You see the way this justice system works? Wow. Well, the debate, first one's in the book. Okay. How do they do it in boxing? Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 hours of boxing, the judges and the referee have unanimously agreed. 21% for DeSantis, 23% for Ramaswamy, 61% for Trump. Wait a second, Trump wasn't there.
Exactly.
I don't know why Murdoch must have fired the guy who did this one. They took a poll and they asked, who do you think won the debate? 61% said Trump.
Mayor, should we play the clip of Vivek and Christie going at it?
Oh man.
Should we show
slaying the bully?
Yeah, let's show them. Let's show them.
I hope that Senator Rubio sends a thank you note to Vivek.
Let's show your audience this.
It was a hand.
1 second.
It was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No,
because
no,
the
I
climate
didn't
change
raise- I
agenda
didn't
is a
raise a
hoax. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a
That's
hoax.
just ridiculous.
The climate change agenda is a hoax, and we have to declare independence for it. And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is, more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought
The
and
death
paid
rate
for?
is down by 98%
Hold on.
in the last century.
Listen.
I've had it. No,
Wait, hold on.
I've had enough. I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage
Come
tonight.
over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to
The same
Obama.
type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
The
bear hug,
same
brother.
type of amateur.
Hold on.
Someone should remind Christie that that last guy he talked about got elected president of the United States. And the last guy that acted like such a significant bully on a debate stage was him. And he didn't get elected anything, not even dog catcher. What a bully. Man, Vivek handled it. I mean, and that wasn't the only. And believe me, if Fox weren't sort of still hanging on to DeSantis, DeSantis. A lot of their people were required to say that Vivek and DeSantis won the debate. I think they would have gotten fired like Tucker if they hadn't said that. But you could see it. The only one who wouldn't concede, they tried real hard to get Hannity to say that. And Hannity said, well, he didn't do that bad. And he didn't. I don't even think people will remember what DeSantis said during the debate. I don't think it was memorable at all. I think Haley did better than DeSantis. How do you like that? In a certain way, we're going to have to see what happened, but Pence took his shot. He had to insert himself in and put it out there and find out how people are going to react. And he's going to find out, and I think he's going to find out he better get out of the campaign. But the guy that everyone agrees got knocked on his rather large backside was the bully. And it's always good to see a bully get beat. Always good to see a bully get beat. And we will take a short break and we'll be right back.
The year is 2022. Cancel culture is the new normal. Online freedom as we know it has ended. Digital stockades are here. All activity is monitored, stored, and predictively analyzed by a technological cartel. We're being converted into a digital resource, a digital currency to be farmed for metadata and loaded into a computerized combine, blockchained to a social engineering operating system. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Be part of a new technological revolution. Right now, 1,000 test pilots have launched themselves into a new digital frontier, a private network outside of big tech control. New technology with state-of-the-art digital engagement and never-done-before security and privacy features that are now operational. With Quick's digital engagement, entertainment, communication, and commercial exchange will never be the same. We are QUX. Quicks. Advanced pre-release sales are limited to 3,000. Order now by visiting quicks.tv. Get yours now before they sell out. Be part of a brand new online experience that you control.
There's Rudy Giuliani back with you. I wanted to reiterate a point made by a very good friend of mine in a column yesterday about what's going to go forward now in these debates, and that is that somebody's got to take on Trump. I don't think there's a clear number two now. I think it'd be hard to accept Vivek as number two because he's so young and inexperienced. I think if he maintains it one or two more debates, then that's different. So right now, I'd have to say it's kind of like a tenuous number two. It's either him, possibly still DeSantis, although he did himself no good. I don't see anybody else unless you, Mike, or Dr. Maria can help me on this. Anybody else could sort of argue for Haley, maybe for a number three, number two, number three, like a.
I think Vivek made his case.
You think Vivek is clear number two?
I think so. Like I said last night, DeSantis looked very nervous. The problem I have with DeSantis is all he does is compare stuff to Florida, and he says the whole country is crap and Florida's the best, Florida's the best. But if you want to be president, you have to say how you're going to make the rest of the country.
That's a really good point.
Like Florida, right, Mayor? When he came here in Staten Island.
That was one of the criticisms of me when I ran.
Right. When he came.
I ran too much on my record in New York.
Right.
Criticism of Walker when he ran in Wisconsin.
Right.
Too much of a and we had great records, but people, and as does DeSantis, but people want to hear about what you. I kept saying it's about aspiration. It's about
right.
At least you got to finish with that.
Mm-hmm.
You tell lots of stories. You can give lots of examples, but when you finish, you got to say, I'm going to like the way he ends with, I'm going to make America great.
Right.
You're going to have more jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have better schools.
Mm-hmm.
The communists are going to get the hell out of your schools. I'm going to throw them out. That kind of stuff.
Right. DeSantis came here in Staten Island. I don't know if you saw him speak. You didn't go there, obviously, but he came to speak in Staten Island. And all he did was talk about how New York is a shithole and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But like, this is my shithole. I love New York. Like, like we love it. Like, don't come in here and tell us that our cities, we live in the greatest city in the world. So when you come here, you tell us how you're going to make New York City better. And DeSantis should have took a page out of your book and used your things.
Slight mention of what you did to show that you can do it.
Right.
But then mostly what I'm going to do. I'm going to close the border. I'm going to close the border because, unlike the present president, I have shown a strong dedication to law enforcement. He's shown a strong dedication to crime. And I'm going to do it this way. And then I'll outline how he's going to do it. I'm going to take, they were getting close to it when they said they would take the 87,000 IRS agents and move them over to the border. That was a great idea. I don't know if anybody actually said that, but geez, I'd have jumped on that and said, yeah, let's put those 87,000 on the border. Nobody would be coming in. And then after that, we can start collecting taxes. We have to spend. We can save on the expenditure side. That wouldn't be bad. And on the crime side, that wouldn't be bad. So, so number two, I guess Vivek is number two, and Haley number three, or DeSantis.
I would say DeSantis. Like I said, Nikki Haley didn't really impress.
Well, unfortunately, Dr. Maria got up for a minute, and I think she was more impressed with Nikki than most of the rest of us. I was a little impressed with her.
Yeah, like she's impressive that she came out of like nowhere.
No, I meant she was impressive. I think she did display what she gained at the United Nations, a pretty balanced view of foreign policy.
She's very educated, very smart.
And Vivek needs to moderate a little. Like, I'm not going to fund Ukraine. What really has to say is, I'm not going to fund Ukraine without accountability.
Right.
He's not going to leave him
high and dry. Right.
I don't think I don't think he will. No. But I mean, I think he's got to explain. He's got to explain.
He should have said, unlike Biden, I will not just keep sending money to Ukraine and not knowing where it ends up.
Yeah, and it's clear that it isn't getting to the battlefield. I mean, a couple of months ago, they were out of arms. I mean, they have more money than they can buy all the arms in the world. I mean, somebody's grabbing that money on the way to the battlefield.
Well, Mayor, we're getting a lot of questions I see on Getter and YouTube. Who do you think would be a great vice president for President Trump?
Well, I sure think Vivek made a heck of a case to him as VP. If you can argue like that in a debate, imagine him debating Harris.
He would eviscerate her. Would even be a competition.
Imagine when she gets asked a question. What would you do about Ukraine?
She'll cackle.
Ukraine is a small country. Russia is a big country. Ukraine has always been a small country. And children, Russia has always been a big country. And we shouldn't let it get any bigger. Thank you. I'll cede my time back. Got to talk to them about Balance of Nature.
Yes.
Balance of Nature is a proprietary blend of fruits and vegetables, and their products are powered as an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the nutrient content so that it remains there and it doesn't dissipate. It's all natural. It's a pure whole produce, nothing else, nothing added. And it has 31 different vegetables and fruit. Together, it's a whole health system. You'll get 35% off your first order if you put down code Rudy. You go to balanceofnature.com, code Rudy, promo code Rudy. And 35% off your first preferred order.
That's right.
And the travel set, you get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer. Plus, you're going to get a free travel set.
Cute. Very cute.
And then as you begin collecting these, you're going to start making Christmas ornaments with me when we get to the fall.
Right.
Okay? All right. This is a really good nutrition. So you can live the life that you want to live,
Mm-hmm.
and you can keep control of it. And inflation has really increased tremendously the cost of getting fruit and vegetables, and even when it didn't, we just don't. Honestly, we don't get enough, and we don't get enough on a balanced basis every day. This, if you make sure you take 2 in the morning, you take 2 at night, or 2 either time, whichever way.
Listen, if you want to work 16 hours a day like the mayor,
You will be.
You take balance of nature.
You will be.
This guy's a workhorse.
It is just absolutely fundamental that you have to have fruits and vegetables, and they're good for you, and you just don't get enough. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. Even if you eat all fruits and vegetables, you probably don't get enough. The estimate is that 1 in 10 people get enough. So you take 2, 4, 6 of these a day, and you're fine. You'll get the best results possible. And as you're getting older, it's even more important, because it isn't just about longevity, it's about quality of life.
That's right.
Right? I mean, you want to have the nourishment that gives you an energy boost, makes your skin look healthier. Nails?
Well, mayor, don't also
Provides benefits of 31 different kinds,
That's right.
and it helps generally prevent sickness, prevent disease. It can help with weight loss. And I do this in deference to not giving a bad example, but I swallow pills without water.
Well, balanceofnature.com, promo code Rudy. Get those fruits and vegetables. And don't forget the fiber and spice, Mayor, to keep you regular.
Now, again, I had this earlier. A little fiber and spice. They give you the little thing inside here. See? Took some this morning. And you're all set to go. The regular size, 35% off. Travel size with travel bag, $25 off. And you're all set to go. And then you'll have the energy to stick around for a little soccer time. Otherwise, you won't make it. So I want you to look at this picture. Can we show them the picture there?
Sure, Mayor.
On the screen right here?
I will. Yes.
If we can.
Mr.
That's right. Mr. Prigozhin, or the dearly departed Mr. Prigozhin. Because Mr. Prigozhin, this might describe what happened to Mr. Prigozhin better than I can if we can stick with the picture, all right? I want you to watch this. Is this in the right order? Can you see it right, or do you have to turn it?
That's good, Mayor.
Okay, that's what happened to Mr. Prigozhin, see? He didn't know. He thought he had made up with Putin, and he didn't know that Putin had put that on his back. And the result of that was that. Now, we would never say that Putin did that, would we?
No.
We know Putin wouldn't do something like this. It was all, he gave a nice eulogy for him. Did you see that? Here we go. There it is. Somewhere in there might be that jacket with the bullseye on it, Mike, Too bad they didn't extricate that. They could have got a few bucks for that, Could have sold it like they're going to sell the Trump. They're going to make a lot on that Trump. Did you realize how much he contributed to his campaign with that mugshot? Fanny Willis. Does Fanny Willis get credited with that as a campaign donation if they make like 30-40 million from that, from the picture? What do you think?
Yeah, that's. I agree with you.
I don't know what could happen. I mean, this is really.
They're saying there was a possible bomb in the wine crate of the plane.
Oh, what's up with the plane? I was talking about Fanny Willis doing the mugshot and Trump making 30 million on it.
I mean, she obviously did President Trump a favor. He's going to profit
Yeah.
tremendously, and he's going to use
Does she
it,
get a
you know.
cut?
No, she doesn't get a cut.
Okay.
That's a public photo. She can't claim any copyrights or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
President Trump is the greatest marketer ever. That's all I'm saying. He's very smart. He's very educated. He had it planned out all along. So thank you, Fanny Willis, for giving money to President Trump. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anybody be interested in mine?
Mayor, I think we should sell yours. I was actually chatting with Dr. Maria about it today.
Yeah.
I think we should make T-shirts, mugs, whatever.
But will Fanny sue me for her cut?
Of course not.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she can't.
You know, it's like I would have, I mean, she could say she's responsible for it because I didn't I did it voluntarily, but it wasn't really very voluntary. Like I had no choice. That kind of voluntary.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
So, this whole situation of a transgender is going to become, I predict, within, if it isn't already, within a few months, one of the 3 or 4 top campaign issues, again, if it isn't already. The number of gender-changing surgeries in the U.S. in the last 3 years has tripled. Tripled.
Mm-hmm.
That means 3 times more people than has ever been the case before really think they should change their gender. Now, there's an argument that because it is now more acceptable, more people who are holding back will do it. That's argument 1. Argument number 2 is that highly susceptible people are being groomed and talked into it and then regret it later. And we do have examples, quite dramatic examples, of people who have now come forward and they're suing doctors and parents and others for having either forced them or not prevented them as juveniles under the guidance of their parents from doing it at a stage in which they're too young to know what they really want. So I don't know exactly, and I wish, see if we can get Dr. Maria back. I could use a little advice on this. I don't know how you sort out both, and I'm trying to analyze this, intellectually rather than from just a political point of view. It was certainly frowned upon, and that's probably very mild, for people to change their gender or to change their sex or whatever you want to call it. To if you're a man to act like a woman, and if you're a woman to act like a man. It was even more frowned upon to physically change yourself, to do a mastectomy, or to change your private parts, and all of that was like, oh my God. I would think, parents disown children and all sorts of things, which, did a lot of harm in the sense, if it was a real thing that was going on, real massive impulse. On the other hand, if it was a passing fancy, even a strong passing fancy, which the literature and the scientific literature in particular makes clear is very, very prevalent among children. In fact, and this comes out of their literature, not right-wing literature, the majority of people, youngsters, who consider change don't ultimately remain that way. The majority change their mind within a relatively short period. And the advice, the sound advice, not the advice that is driven by ideology or avarice, is wait a little, patience, pazienza, as they say in Italian, pazienza, which is a good piece of advice for almost anything impulsive. Well, pazienza has changed into a massive multi-billion-dollar industry to get you to chop that stuff off as fast as possible so you can make a fortune. The profit motive has now been put behind gender change, and that is a disaster. It's a disaster. This is an extraordinarily complex, sensitive issue in which you make the wrong decision and you destroy somebody. And you can make the wrong decision either way. And you need an open mind, and you need a tremendous amount of sensitivity, and you need to rid yourself of prejudice and bias, and you got to just infuse yourself with wisdom and love and understanding. And when money rears its ugly head, that isn't the case. And there's no doubt in my mind that now there is a big, giant industry trying to get as many kids as possible to chop themselves up as possible, because you can make a fortune, just like the CRT people and Garland's son-in-law making a fortune with critical race theory and all this crazy, incredible stuff that they teach in schools to destroy loving America and caring about America, and even understanding and caring about yourself. And we've got the Attorney General threatening to put parents, in jail as terrorists, and we got his son-in-law raking in millions doing it. So we got a whole corrupt industry here in both of these areas, and they overlap to some extent. So I don't see anything wrong with a state law that says that until you're 18, you can't do anything to permanently change your God-given sexuality. I can accept, although I don't know if I can.
Well,
I'm not as totally against the idea of maybe in some limited circumstances it can be done if the parents agree. But I think you have to meet some kind of very heavy showing that you're the exception and the child really knows what it wants. And I'd feel much more comfortable with, since you can't get tattooed until you're 18,
or join the military.
You can't start chopping off your genitals or take chemicals that have a similar chemical effect and therefore can be not irreversible. I don't think you should be able to do anything irreversible to yourself before you're at least 18. Man, I'd really like to see 21. I'm just thinking of myself, not that issue, but other issues of, that I changed my mind about. And I think about my children and other people's children and friends of mine and stories you read and novels you read. And young people change their mind. And there's nothing wrong with those young people. They can be the smartest ones, the most athletic ones, the weakest ones. It's the nature of being young. It's what it means to be mature, right? And who reaches maturity?
So, Mayor, I want to take it one step further. I think not only raise the age to 18, they should make you go through therapy, a therapist, to make sure that you really want to do this. Because I know someone who grew up, right? I know someone who grew up in Texas, and Texas is very strict with transgender laws and stuff like that. And they had to legitimately go through therapy, get signed off on, and before they even decided to start taking hormones. And I think, some little girls want to dress up as boys sometimes, but that doesn't mean they want to be a boy.
A tomboy.
Right, a tomboy, exactly. I know many tomboys,
Tomboys,
Yeah.
I mean, I know many tomboys that turned out to be very, very beautiful, totally female sexual beings.
Right. Cisgender, they call it.
Yeah.
Cisgender, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. My goodness. I mean, tomboy has nothing to do with what they turn out to be at 24 or 25. My goodness.
Right.
And I think, in many cases, tomboys are attractive to men later because they understand men a little better. I mean, maybe I'm making a generalization that's wrong. I don't know. But I'm sure I'm not an expert on it. So don't get all upset if you weren't a tomboy. But the idea of where do you know, now what we're faced with because of the money issue is we can't trust those opinions any longer. So you say, I mean, 30 years ago or 20 years ago, you could say, okay, this kid wants to change. Even the parents think the kid wants to change. Kid's a little young. Let's go to a really good psychiatrist. And the really good psychiatrist says, I tell you what, this is the one case where really it should not. Well, you would trust that. Nowadays, you're wondering, the really good psychiatrist and psychologist, psychologist and psychiatrist, but you're no better or worse than anybody else. There are just as many crooked ones as you as lawyers and vice versa. You can see a way of making a buck, big bucks. How many surgeons don't recommend surgery?
I mean,
every single one that I went to for prostate cancer did.
Yeah.
And every radiologist recommended radiology.
Right.
Guys going to make, 30 grand, 40 grand for chopping off the genitals. He gets zero for not. We got to go back to, Dr. Welby.
Right. I mean, yeah, Mayor, Boston Children's Hospital.
Do we have Dr. Welby any longer? I mean, watching what happened during the pandemic when everybody went into, gee, I'm not going to give you any of those medicines because I'm afraid that could have saved lives.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't cover yourself with glory, medical profession, except for a few of you who got tortured like some of us.
Yeah, Mayor, Libs of TikTok, the Twitter account and the TikTok account, they went after Boston's Children's Hospital because they actually had a legitimate video on their main website pushing.
Oh, I should have been more careful about that because there was some real heroes.
Right.
But the majority were not heroes.
No.
The majority went along with, don't give them the medicine before they get in the hospital. And by the time they get in the hospital, they're pretty much dead. And by the time you put them on the respirator, they're pretty much dead.
Now all of a sudden, ivermectin treats COVID.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
It could have easily saved lots of lives given early.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize that the reason for that is that it would have built up a treatment for the disease that it would have made impossible to get the exception for the vaccine, which made people trillionaires, and also now is questionable. I mean, really questionable, the vaccine. So medical profession has not covered itself with glory. It didn't take over there and say, "Hey, while you're doing this vaccine thing, so that all you guys in Fauci can become rich, we got to be doing treatment and bullshit. You can't be blowing away all treatment because you want to make room for a vaccine, which is going to be dangerous per se because it won't be able to be tested for 3 years." No matter what, that vaccine was going to be dangerous because vaccines usually need 3 or 4 years of tests.
That's right, Mayor. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, if you're aware, all these big Hollywood stars, Jamie Lee Curtis and that, they're starting to wear masks on social media now and saying COVID is coming back. Mask up. Even some school districts are saying, when your children come to school, this new school year.
Even Fauci now agrees that masks are useless.
Well, they're saying
that was
COVID
his
is
last
back.
and final rendition of no mask, no mask, 3 masks, 1 mask, no mask.
Yeah, they're claiming COVID is on the rise again, and all these liberal Hollywood stars are going on social media.
They probably have a bunch of masks to sell.
Right. They're pushing the vaccine, they're pushing the booster, they're pushing the masks. So, we're going to see COVID come, quote unquote, try to make a comeback.
Who wants to wear a mask? Which
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well, she should. She's getting old.
Well, yeah, she's not that attractive. But
she's getting old. At her
right.
age, she looks better in a mask.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so we're going to see a lot of stars, Hollywood liberal stars, start saying COVID is on the rise, and they're going to push the narrative. And
they should all act with masks on. Nobody go to the movies.
Well, they're on strike right now, so there's no movies.
Well, there are movies. I mean, I went to see.
There's no movies being made. I should say at this time because they're on strike. SAG is still on strike, which is a good thing. We don't care. So. We're gonna get in trouble, Mayor. We're gonna get in trouble. Go, keep going, keep going.
Well, I was thinking maybe it could wipe out Hollywood.
Oh wow.
Look, it could be a homeless shelter. Just think of all those nice houses for the homeless.
Listen, I like movies, Mayor. I know you like movies. Sylvester Stallone's my idol, and he's a big conservative. I know he's not about this COVID crap and this vaccine crap. So I would still love that man to make movies.
But he lives in Florida now, right?
Well, he moved from California because it was getting too crazy for him. He
Yeah,
lives
so
in
he
West
can
Palm
be.
Beach now.
So maybe his property could be used by the, I don't know, by the homeless or by the illegal migrants brought in by the cartels.
Maybe.
I mean, they deserve it.
California should just break off from the United States.
Well, Dr. Maria has reappeared. She has reappeared. So we will. She's clapping away. Don't forget your Balance of Nature. balanceofnature.com. Promo code Rudy. 35% off. Don't forget Tunnels to Towers, T2T.org. Make your donation. I would really like to see you go to QUX so you can get OAN also on. You can, at least you have OAN and Newsmax and you'll get some news. Otherwise, you watch processed news. All the news will let you hear is what it now is the slogan of the Times. Have you noticed that in the corner? All the news we will let you read. They now have a ministry of truth, which is in 1984 the Ministry of Censorship. So this weekend, it'd be nice if you joined us on Sunday at 10 on Uncovering the Truth with Dr. Maria, WABCRadio.com. Be good if you caught up on our podcast on RudyGiulianiCS.com. And remember, on Monday, 3, WABCRadio.com, and then back here.
Sunday.
Back here. Sunday. See, Dr. Maria came in, but she's walking in and out, and she's not paying attention. And what did I do before, Mike?
He did announce Uncovering the Truth at 10 a.m. on Sunday.
With the incomparable Dr. Maria. Yeah, who's holding out to get people, she wouldn't give us a scientific opinion before. We probably have to pay. We're going to probably have to make an appointment.
Billable hours.
Yeah, billable hours. Oh, gee, I remember those. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, let's also see.
Oh, Mary, don't forget my pillow. My pillow.
Please do a My Pillow this weekend, huh? Get a nice pillow, get a nice blanket.
Towels are great. I love
The
the towels.
towels. How about some towels this time?
Slippers. Fall's coming.
Yeah.
Fall's coming.
Yeah,
Slippers,
yeah.
slippers.
Blankets pretty soon, huh?
Blankets too.
And remember Harrison Floyd. Remember Harrison Floyd. If we get information, we will put it on Twitter and some of the others. But make sure we get it on X. Do we now call it X? I guess instead of Twitter. Well, now
say X, formerly known as Twitter.
Well, X. Oh, that's like Prince.
Right. Right.
So we will put it on X, and you'll be able to help Mr. Floyd, who is being treated like Americans are treated in Russia and China. And it's in the state of Georgia, and responsibility here is on the anti-American tactics of people like Fanny Willis and Governor Kemp. Thank you. You have a wonderful weekend. God bless America. Our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply